Since that helps, we're going to have a live report from that practice coming your way a little bit later. We'll also hear from the Cowboys and so much more as we welcome you in. So glad to be with you here. We got Dan Orlovsky and Peter Schrager.
That was my tugboat.
Let's go.
Oh, no talk about you today.
It worked better for Peter than it did for you. But all right, the entire world has their eyes on the league meetings in Minneapolis, not the background here, although it is pretty here in New York. The spring meetings happen, of course, there. And there's a lot to get to, some big decisions to be made about the future of the tush-push, flag football, and so much more. You see Robert Kraft right there. Chad Kahn. There's so many of the owners that are convening there to make big-time decisions. And
who's that?
That's Jerry Jones. And that's Jeremy Fowler.
Yeah, Jeremy?
We're glad Jeremy's here with us. All right, let's start with this. When should we expect decisions on these proposals?
Laura, NFL owners are meeting as we speak on flag football. They're going to get a little proposal, and then they are going to vote on whether NFL players will be eligible for the Olympics flag 2028. The expectation is that they will. They can work out the logistics later. They have a lot of salary cap, injury prevention, ramifications. They'll talk about that later, but for now, there's a lot of excitement about players being eligible for flag. Should push through. And then we have the fireworks, the tush push. That proposal will be voted upon Wednesday morning. And so the Packers have tweaked their proposal. Last time in March, it only got 16 of 32 votes. They need 8 more votes to get a majority. There is at least some early momentum, Laura, from what I'm hearing from some team execs who say there are just a lot of teams that do want to get that rugby style of play out of the action, kind of go back to the early 2000s where you simply cannot push or pull any ball carrier. So we'll see whether that shakes out in the next 18 to 24 hours. You also have playoff reseeding. That will be discussed. I don't sense a lot of momentum from the people I've talked to around the league. There's still a lot of teams that feel that divisional winners are sacred, that they should be rewarded. But most agree that, with an 18-game schedule coming eventually, they're going to try to eliminate the meaningless games in late December, early January, but there could be a change. It just might not be now.
All right, we'll check back in with Jeremy on all the latest. As he just said, there's going to be more coming on this throughout the hour here with you. We'll be with you. Now, here's the other part of all this. The NFL owners discussing a proposal for NFL players to participate in the 2028 Olympics. Now, if approved, no more than one player from each NFL roster can participate for a country. There'll be appropriate injury protection provided and salary cap credit for a player that's injured during the games. And I know, I don't like that part. Well, I like it to protect them, but you don't want to think about them getting hurt. There will be an agreement that Olympic teams will implement standards for medical staff and field services. That's important. All right, let's start there. Peter, what are you hearing about this potential decision around flag football in the Olympics and the NFL's participation?
I've personally had a really interesting 24 hours because I was flipping about this yesterday. I was like, I don't need Tyreek Hill getting hurt against Latvia and all that. I heard from not only the league, but people from the Players Union. The league has 2 major initiatives in the next 10 years, flag football and international. This sport combines the two. By using NFL players as a showcase to the game, they can expand the global footprint of football as a whole. This is supposed to be like the 1992 Olympics and what Barcelona was with the Dream Team. You bring it into this stage, you are now expanding football to international waters, and a whole generation of sports fans can be watching from different countries. You combine those two things. As far as the NFL concerns, the players want to play, and the owners are for it as well. They see that this could end up being something that's both beneficial for the overall sport, but also in the summer months where football usually hits a lull. Now we're going to be talking about football and the Olympics. Keep the story going, keep the flame ablaze. Dan, I see you gasping as an NFL player yourself.
I think it's cool for the players. I really do. Everyone needs to remember that, these guys have reached the top of the mountain, more of them. They've climbed the very highest they can climb. So now this is another opportunity for them to do something that they more than likely never thought they could be. Play in the Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl and an Olympic champion, that's obviously very few people have had the opportunity. I will ask questions, so hopefully you know the answer to. So these NFL guys are going to have to try out for teams?
Yeah, you have to actually do a tryout. And if you look at the NFL window, there's a very small window. They have to at least practice and try out for these teams. It's required. and then you're going to have to actually do the 2-week competition. So let's say that's a month of your life.
Yeah.
That's usually spent in Cabo or personal time or Arizona or wherever. You're going to be training for the Olympics.
So I don't think the pool of people is going to, or players will be as big as maybe initially.
Not even the first year? I feel like the first year everyone's going to want to do it.
Well, my second question was going to be, in those notes it said 1 player per team.
Yep.
Yes.
So does that mean to
country.
tell me for each? So that means that Brian Branch and Jameer Gibbs both cannot play because they're from the same NFL team.
No more than 1 player from each NFL roster can participate for a country.
Interesting.
Let me clarify also, like,
go ahead.
Jordan Mailata is Australian.
Yeah.
He can play from the Eagles for Australia, while Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley plays it. But Jalen and Saquon,
different countries.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, later in the show, you do not want to miss this because both guys are going to pick their flag football starting 5s.
I might have.
And for the viewers at home, here's how it works. It's quarterback, 2 wide receiver, running back, and then like a flex center.
Okay, so and Dan's already breaking the rules.
We're going to get very flexible.
Interesting. All right.
your
Speaking
team.
of centers, and I'm going to do a team too.
Good.
I got time.
Good.
Let's talk about the tush push. Okay, the Eagles spoke today on it. Listen to this.
We obviously were at the owners' meetings. We talked about how we felt about it, and I don't think anyone could question what my sentiment is on it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with it tomorrow.
Listen, guys. As in terms of them banning the tush push, I hate that name. So I hope they do ban it. It's a stupid name, but I can't control that. We can't control it, so we don't even worry about that. Right now, we're just installing our schemes. Whatever KP is installing that day, that's what we're focused on. Because worrying about if they're going to ban the tush push or not ain't going to win us another championship.
I don't have any thoughts on it. And I think it's only 1 yard. So, I mean.
I mean, it's only 1 yard, but over the last 3 seasons, the Eagles have ran a push sneak 108 times and have converted a first down on 92 of those tries. Now, both of those nearly double the amount of the next closest team, and that was the Buffalo Bills. Philly also had 27 touchdowns using the push sneak. So while it's only 1 yard, it results in touchdowns. The rest of the league as a whole had 25 for reference. Peter, the Packers changed the language of the proposal. Keep in mind, they're meeting on Monday Night Football week 10, by the way. It is a really big deal. What does that mean? Explain it to the people.
They changed the language a little bit, so it's not just from the snap. Essentially, it's you can't push anybody on offense and you can't interlock arms. They loosened up the language so it's not directly the tush push per se, but it's any play like that. Look, they had this out there in March. They didn't get the votes. They got 16. They need 24. I'm hearing that the NFL league office has been, talking to folks, and of course, owners on the other side of it might not want it. I do know the Eagles have been very proactive in voicing their opinion to not only the media, but also to the competition community. The health and safety risks are one thing. Anytime you see Dr. Alan Sills, the NFL's lead physician, come out and use the word catastrophic injury, which is what we saw in March, that is a red flag for everybody. But lots of people don't like it as a football play.
Yeah.
A lot of people look at the football play and say it was banned for 85 years. Offense can push. Why can't defense push? It's ugly. It ruins the pace of play. So there's 2 sides here. It's the health and safety, but it's also the aesthetics of football. And that for years you couldn't just push on offense, and now all of a sudden you can.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of